My professional background, I've been in business for more than 30 years. That's because I started when I was 3. And I have been inside organizations, leading departments in mid to senior level management for about 18 years of that. And for the past 12 years, I've been owning my own company as a sole proprietor. Business and management consulting, specializing in strategy identification and implementation, leadership development, and building internal capability, all of which ties very much into what we do with management development. So it's been a really good match. And so one of the ways I do my work is with Penn State, which I love. Educational background, I have an undergrad double major in social and cultural anthropology and English from Grinnell College in Iowa. I'm Phi Beta Kappa, since that matters in an educational organization. And then my master's degree is from the University of Michigan in communications. Some of the things that are going on in the business world today and the emphases that we help with in the leadership development and the organizational development are around focusing on participants as learners rather than training, which was the old talking head focus, which never worked for me. Now it's on how do we help these folks, how do we help participants understand what they already do well so they can keep on doing it on purpose, and to add in new skills and capabilities. Some of the other things that especially interest me and are very much a focus of how I do things and we do things include the leadership development, focusing on what really makes an effective leader, and there's been a lot of change in some of the theory around that. And also in tying what we do with the strategic initiatives of a particular organization. I teach with the various initiatives around business development skills, leadership and management development, organizational development. A lot of the organizations and businesses we work with, they want us to know the theory. They don't really care about the theory except as how it relates to what would that look like on a day-to-day basis. So part of what's fun for me is helping to translate the theory into practical application. So helping them be the learner, having it be extremely interactive, helping it focus on what would that look like for them on a day-to-day basis. What does that mean for their job? Management development, the way we do it here at Penn State, provides you with linkage between what your business is trying to do and people who can help develop your employees at all levels to know how to do that better. And so what you have are people who are seasoned educators, but are also very experienced business people. And so when we come in, we're not going to be talking abstract information. It's going to be, what does your organization need? What do your folks need to know? How do we help your staff develop in whatever part, either because there's some new initiative you're doing. It could be remedial in that you've got some stuff that isn't working very well. But sometimes, and I've actually been working with some organizations on this part, sometimes it's things are going well, but we're ready to springboard to the next major strategic initiative, the next major growth spurt, the next major, we're buying some other organizations and expanding. And so how do we get there? How can we position our staff, our employees, our workers to be able to get there? In one of our earlier steps, working with the senior executives in the next layer within the organization, they were going through a lot of change, which wasn't fun to them. But the opportunity was there where some of the senior execs and I kind of huddled out in the hall, and they said, look, this is part of what they're struggling with right now. And in the session, what happened that I was leading that day, the managers in that realized that what we were discussing had immediate usefulness or utility for them. And so I kind of stepped out of the plan for that moment and tied it in with their needs around the change that they were going through. And so literally it was a dialogue with them supporting each other and me supporting them and coaching them in, okay, here's what our staff is saying, what do we do about that? Here's the kind of questions I'm getting, here are the answers I'm giving, based on the kinds of skills we're talking about, does that work? What else should I do to help them through this major change productively? And that felt really good. The the fun part where you can tell it's working is they come and find you at break and at lunch and, well, I just want to run this by you. Here's what's happening in my department and here's what I'm doing about it. What do you think? Here's how I tied this or that in. And so you can tell. And so we got very, very positive feedback about that. And we saw them become more energized. The retreat they were having was in October in a park outside. And so the day we did it, it was 40 degrees and it was deluging. And working with the head of that organization and the people, and by the way, there were I think we had 75 finally that were there that day. So it was a lot standing out in the pouring rain. We figured out a way to do this that would work. They maintained their energy. They came out with a lot of ahas and connections, and it was a lot of fun. But we were sopping wet and freezing by the end of the day.